All right, today we're diving into a business model that's designed to handle really big, really complicated projects. And to make it real, we're going to use a case study that a lot of us might dream about, but also kind of dread actually doing: building a brand new retail store, from scratch. So, let's say you've got this amazing idea for a new store. What's the single biggest thing standing between you and opening day? Well, 9 times out of 10, it's the absolute nightmare of getting the physical space built. It's less like a construction project and more like trying to conduct a chaotic orchestra where nobody's even looking at the same sheet of music.
We like to call this whole mess the renovation maze. Just think about how it usually goes down, right? First, you hire an architect. Then, you find a completely separate designer. Then, you have to go out and find a builder. And guess who gets stuck in the middle of all of them? You do, the business owner. You end up being this reluctant project manager, just constantly running back and forth, translating, putting out fires. It's just a perfect recipe for miscommunication and, you guessed it, expensive delays.
Okay, so this lays it out pretty clearly. On the left, you've got that traditional way, all these separate teams, architect, designer, builder, and they all have their own agendas. It's just chaotic. But then, look over on the right. That's the alternative we're talking about today. One single, unified team, everybody working together from the get-go. So let's really unpack what that means.
So, how do you actually get out of that maze? Well, the solution we're looking at today is a totally different way of thinking. It's called the design-build model, and we're about to break down exactly what that is.
At its core, a design-build firm is basically a one-stop shop. It's really simple. Instead of you having to go out and hire all these different experts, you hire just one company. And that one company has everybody you need: the designers, the architects, the construction folks, all in-house, all working together as one single team. From the very first sketch on a napkin all the way to that final coat of paint on the wall.
All right, so having one team, that sounds a lot simpler, right? But the real question is, how does it actually get you better results? Well, it all boils down to 3 big ideas: unity, speed, and maybe most importantly, giving you, the business owner, back control of your project. So let's look at how this plays out. First off, you get a single point of contact. Think about that. No more chasing down 3 different people just to get one simple answer. For an entrepreneur who's already juggling a million things, that alone is a huge relief. Second, problems get solved way faster. The designer can literally just walk across the office to the builder's desk and figure something out in minutes, not days of emails and phone calls. And third, you get real-time budgeting. Because the design team and the construction team are always talking, you know exactly what things cost as you go. No nasty surprises. And this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. The whole model is designed to eliminate potential conflicts and miscommunications between separate design and construction teams. It's all about getting everyone on the same page right from the very start because, well, they're literally on the same team. So what does all this mean for you, the person writing the checks? It means you have so much more control. Look at the budgeting. You're getting cost estimates early and often, so you're not blindsided down the road. When it comes to suppliers, the firm already has established relationships, which means you get better pricing. And for the day-to-day execution, a team that's already in sync just means a much smoother project with way fewer of those uh-oh moments. Okay, so better communication, faster problem solving, tighter budgets, all of that is fantastic. But all those efficiencies are really leading to one single ultimate benefit. The one thing that every single entrepreneur cares about most. And here it is. It's simple: opening your doors sooner. Think about it. Every single day your store is just a construction zone is a day you're not making any money. The whole point is to shrink that timeline from a big idea to a ringing cash register.
And you can see the difference so clearly on this timeline. That top bar, that's the traditional way. It's long, it's clunky, and you've got all these different handoff points where things can just fall through the cracks. But that bottom bar, the design-build timeline, it's shorter, it's streamlined, it's just more fluid because design and construction are happening together from day one.
And of course, opening sooner translates directly to more revenue. It's simple math. If you can get your doors open weeks or maybe even months earlier than you would have otherwise, you start making money that much sooner. For any new business, that's not just a nice bonus, that can be the difference between making it and not. So when you put all these pieces together, you have to ask, is this model really a blueprint for success? Let's just quickly recap the core promise here.
So the promise here is pretty straightforward. You're getting a single point of contact. You're getting clear, efficient communication. That leads to faster decision-making, way better budget management, and just a smoother project from start to finish. Ultimately, the whole goal is to give you a shot at what the source calls an opportunity to save time, money, and headaches.
And that really brings us to a bigger question, doesn't it?
I mean, yeah, we've been talking about building a retail store, but this core idea of taking a fragmented, chaotic system and replacing it with one unified team, that's a really powerful concept. So it makes you wonder, could this single-team approach be the future for how we manage all sorts of complex projects? Not just in business, but maybe even in other parts of our lives too. It's definitely something to think about.